Now you see this tree right here behind you? How unusual it looks compared to the rest? It's all standing up. All the rest are bent over. But if you want to know something? This will never stand up again. You look at all the apples on that tree, focus on the number of apples up on that tree. When those develop, that thing's coming down. It's just hilarious, man. There's no way possible I can get a tall tree.
Do you thin your apples out?
No, because I don't have time for that. That's a lot of work. And so I do my thinning, my pruning process. I'm trying to reduce the amount of fruit I get, but to walk out here and have to thin that just takes too much time. I'm not up to it.
Besides, they create the weights.
Again, I'm not going to have to shorten this tree. It's coming down. Next year, it'll be bent over, I know. Because I'm looking at what's there. This is a Connie from Japan. It's an awesome apple. They're aromatic. They're amazing. And it's going to get heavy because it's just there.
How old is this?
This tree's 2 years old.
Oh, okay.
And so you've lost your central leader here.
Yeah.
It's just going.
Well, I took it out.
Oh.
You see, I pruned it out. It was right there. I cut it out.
Okay.
And you look behind you, see over here. Here, you see, all pruning books come from central leaders. You see that tree right there? Look at that. That look like a Japanese bonsai to you? Look at that thing.
Yes.
There is no central leader. There never was one. Look how it came out of the ground. It just does this Y thing in the middle. But look at that tree. That thing gets 120 pounds of the most amazing big yellow apples. They're Mutsu from Japan. And I have to keep struggling to get this thing off the ground every year because it's on the ground, the weight. And you can see all the apples developing in there, but I love the shape of it, man. It looks like a cool bonsai.
So how do you keep it from?
What's that now?
You ever have to prop up the branches?
Propping up branches is insanity. Here's why. When you prop something, you weaken it because it doesn't have to support itself. And so you're making it weak. And if for some reason that prop ever moves, you're going to lose your whole branch.
Yeah.
So my sense is you prune a tree to support what it's got and you let it develop strength. Creating props is completely stupid and will weaken and eventually destroy the tree. You see, everything in nature and us was made to overcome, to be empowered. And when you support it and they don't have to overcome, that only weakens them, doesn't make them stronger. It's huge. It's really huge, the principle.
I am weak, then I am strong.
Now, be careful back behind you. You see this, you're about ready to step on it. This is an awesome squash plant that's growing. I just planted it, right there.
I couldn't tell where he was stuck.
There's a squash plant there, so don't step on that. Because you see, this orchard will be covered with squash and watermelon and all kinds of stuff. Every square inch will have unreal growth in here. Now, watermelon I'm going to grow here. I've never done it before, I'm doing it now. But let me show you something about these trees. I have them coming out further. They come out over here. You see this plum tree right over here? And if you focus on it, look at the amount of plums that's hanging on there. That's an 9-year-old dwarf plum. 9 years old. Remember they told you in school, how far do the roots go out from the tree? The drip line? You see this root over here? And I have them coming out over here. I have them coming out 30-foot radius. Not diameter, 30-foot radius from the trunk. And this is a dwarf tree that isn't supposed to have a root system. And you know what I get in the spirit? That God laughs. He says it in Psalm 2. God laughs. And when man in his insanity thinks he's going to dwarf something, and you put it in a healthy environment, God just laughs. I can't be dwarfed. You're not going to stop me. I don't care what you think, because I'm just bigger than that. I love it. You see this whole, and so I'm planting under my trees all my produce now. And I find the stuff under my trees is getting a lot bigger than the plants out in full sun, which is rocking my brain because my brain says that's not possible. They're under the tree, they're shaded, and the root ball is sucking everything out of the ground. So I asked the Creator because I have to because my brain can't get it. And I says, God, how come the stuff on the trees are growing so better? He says, come over, I'll show you. He says, you see this root sucker here? You take this and take a circle this diameter around that tree. Just do it. Go out here around that tree right there. And then imagine in your mind the size of that root system. You look at the size of that tree. There's no way possible for that tree to take in all it's taking up. It can't possibly consume all that. And so it displaces it out through its foliage. And the plants underneath are being fed from the bottom and the top. And that's why they're doing so well. I just flipped that out. Wow, God. Wow. It's awesome. And you see, we're told you can't grow stuff under trees. That is the most ideal place to grow because they're being fed from the top. In a root system like this, they have so much they can give away. And so I'm so getting this whole thing that God thinks different than we do. Totally different. And I love it because it's so cool. It's so awesome. Let me show you. I've been doing a lot of grafting and it's been so much fun. Because you see, I have a limited space now. I had no more room for trees. And I keep coming across cool varieties. And so now what I'm doing, I'm just grafting the trees I have. And one of the advantages God showed me is that if you're aware of what's happening on the planet today with farming, commercial farmers are using more and more pesticides every year. Are you hearing me? And the bee population in the world is declining at a scary rate. Very scary. Because if you don't have bees, you won't have food. You will not have food. And so what God's showing me by grafting in my trees multiple varieties, if bees don't happen, because they're close, and when the wind blows, they'll cross-pollinate because they're so close. And I will have fruit if there's no bees. It's so awesome. Let me show you about grafting. You see this pear tree we're coming up to right here? This pear tree, you see where David's standing? You see how the foliage of that is different than the rest of the tree? It's a red and the pear's red, and the other ones are green. Well, that's a new variety I grafted into. See over here, this black tape? This is a whole other variety here. And see up here, this black tape? That's a whole other variety. And let me show you about this black tape cool idea. If you look at books on grafting, they make it very intensively hard. You got to have grafting paste, and when you put it together, you have pins to try to hold it together, and it's very, very hard. So that's the creator about grafting. He says, get a roll of black tape, and you want to get the cheap stuff from Taiwan that can stretch. Don't get the good US black tape, electrical tape, because it doesn't stretch. And here's what's so awesome. I want to take you over and just show you the power of what's happening here. And so when you go to graft, you all know the only live part of the tree is the cambium layer below the bark, that green layer. The center part of the tree is not living. It's there for support, but it's not alive. That's why you see trees with cavities, no center, are growing just fine, because the cambium is still intact. That's what the life force is. So I went last year, 2 years ago, and I grafted a piece of wood about this thick right there. And you can see how this is developed in 2 years with all this fruit. Look at this one over here. This really blows my mind. Look at the thickness of that wood right there. And that was from a graft that I did.
So how do you...
Let me show you how cool this is. This is the creator, so awesome. So when you get ready to graft, you want to make sure that what you're grafting into is the same diameter of the piece you're grafting into it, because the cambium has to line up. So what you do when the piece you're going to graft into, you cut off flat, you take your pruner and you cut an opening in the center. You just cut an opening. Then the piece you're going to graft into it, you cut it at an angle like this and you slide into the opening. Here's what's cool about the tape. As you wrap with the tape, you align everything. You bring everything into perfect alignment so the cambium is intact. As it's wrapped tight with the tape, it's not going to flex, it's not going to move. As it's wrapped tight with the tape, it's not going to dry out because everything's held in, and because it's black when the sun hits it, it heals quicker. I'm just telling you, man, there's no better way to graft than with black tape.
So you cut it this way, and
this you cut flat. You take your pruner and you cut an opening.
Oh, in the middle?
In the middle.
Okay.
Then the piece you graft, you cut an angle like this,
stick in there.
and you slide it in.
Oh.
Now that it's in there, as you wrap with the tape, that aligns everything, puts everything in alignment so the cambium is intact, and it works so cool. Let me just take you over this little apple tree behind you and show you some really cool examples I did last year that's going to blow you away. I want you to look at this tree here, this little apple tree, And if you look in the center there, you see some blooms happening, some flowers. And if you follow it back, there's this real skinny piece of wood with black tape around it. That's a whole other variety that's going to have apples on it. And you look how skinny that is and how little it was.
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, it's awesome.
And then it will become like that.
That's going to be apples. Those are flowers going to be apples. And that happened like that. It's so cool. There's another one over here. Look.
Is that electrical tape?
Electrical tape. You can see it. It's what it is.
How do you keep track of all the grafts? You have some
I don't. I don't even know what this is. I'll find out later. And what's cool about doing this, if it's not cool, I can just get rid of it. But if I want to keep it, I can keep multiplying it. Look at over here, you guys. Here's another one. See right here? Right there. See it's blooming? See the tape? That little tiny piece of stick I plugged in here and I got fruit the first year. I'm just telling you, man, this is fun. And this does not happen in natural U.S. American agriculture. No way.
Did you do this graft?
What's that?
When did you do that graft?
This fall. This fall.
So this,
It's only a few months.
so this and this is different tree.
Different, altogether different. Completely different. And you know what's so cool? You see, as this develops, in my trees I have yellow apples and red apples, and all in the same tree, so it's very colorful. It's very attractive, and it's very cool. And then they cross-pollinate. It's so, look over here. See this one here? Look at all the different varieties I have. See this one right, see the black tape right here?
Yes.
See, this is different. That one's different. See over there? See, there's all kinds of varieties. All this,
Fun here.
it's so cool. And with the black tape, it's easy. It's no, all you need is a pruner, a roll of tape, and you graft all day long. You're just awesome.
You ever take the black tape off?
The tape, here she said they take it off. Here's this easy yoke light burden. As it expands, it breaks off and falls off on its own. I'm so getting these things about God are completely without any labor. No effort. He makes it so easy for us. And this is nothing you'd ever find in a book.
This is really Garden of Eden. God told us just now to take care of.
Maintain.
But after Garden of Eden, God cursed the ground.
No, he didn't. Man did.
I mean, God said, no, cursed be the ground.
And you know why?
Why?
Because man tilled it. Man brought the curse. Listen,
Yes,
look at
and
me.
then
God, look at my eyes. God is love. That's his nature.
Yes.
Love does not curse.
Oh.
He's talking about consequences because man came under the influence of the devil and started tilling the ground was cursed. Let me take it further. You know why it says in the Bible, why God instructed the Jewish people to let the ground rest every 7 years?
Yes.
Because he doesn't do that. Why would he tell them to do something he doesn't do? God's the master gardener of the universe, and he does not put his landscape, his garden, in rest every 7 years. He wrote that for people who are under the influence of the devil, who are experiencing the curse, and they let the ground rest. I asked God about that 7-year rest, and he just told me, he says, I don't let mine rest every 7 years. It's always resting. This whole place is a constant state of rest. There's no stress happening anytime. And because it's always resting, it's constantly. When you till the ground, it's stressed. It's worn out. You got to give it a break, but there's no tilling happening here. This is always an upgrade. There's no stress. No one's getting tired. It's abundant. And that's the nature of the Father.
Paul, do you use dormant spray?
No? Why would I?
That's what I'm asking.
Again, I look in nature. In nature, no dormant spray is used. I keep telling you, if you'll simply use that question to analyze everything, you get it. In nature, there's no dormant spray being used.
Right. So whatever advantage some people say you get from dormant spray, why don't you need it here?
Well, if you look at the color of that foliage with good eyes, is there anything lacking here?
No.
Excuse me. So what do I need to improve?
So you ignore,
What's the point?
You ignore that when it gets bubbly and something weird.
I don't care.
Okay.
In nature, everybody's ignoring it. It falls off. If it's not good, it dies.
Okay.
And it's out of here. You see, all this stuff that we do is, when you think about it logically, is really stupid. Because it makes no sense. What's the point of spraying? If something's bad, it's going to fall off and die. It's going to get out of there. Because nature does that. It gets rid of it.
That adds to the compost, right?
Adds to the compost. It's all returned to the soil. And here we, with our intelligent minds, take our great leaves, all of our compost, put it in plastic bags and take it to the dump. I'm just telling you, man, if we tried to be stupid, we couldn't be more effective. It's incredible. It's totally mind-boggling.